we fucking told everybody. We fucking told everybody. Tatiana Suarez was the betting favorite going into this.
Favorite, dude.
Which is ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous bullshit I'd ever seen. I mean, I had it 5-0 personally. I think round 3 was close, but, you know, I still gave that edge to DDP.
Sean Strickland shouldn't fight for a title again. I'm just saying it right now.
No.
I agree. His fighting style is not what I want to see in a champion.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most degenerate MMA podcast in the game, the Over The Octagon Podcast, live everywhere on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. You're here with your hosts, Evan and Joel. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not already, click that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, like the video, share it with your friends, help us grow this channel to be something great. We are recording this the day after UFC 312 between Dricus Du Plessis, Sean Strickland, Zhang Weili, Tatiana Suarez. Had 2 title fights on this. We looked at this fight card kind of leading up to it, and it was kind of shit.
Yeah, a little under. It was a little under, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Underwhelming?
Underwhelming, yeah. Underwhelming.
Little underwhelming initial reaction, but I will say, full of fire fights, dude. Yeah. Every time that we think, oh, this card sucks. Oh, this card's going to be shit. And even, we had, Jimmy Crute, and I'm not going to do this very long, but, Jimmy Crute, Bellato went to a draw decision, but, that was a fucking war.
Yeah, it was a war.
Know?
And I'm surprised that went to a draw, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jake Matthews, gets a decision win over Prado. Banger. Santos, good submission win over Jenkins. The Tom Nolan-Borshev fight. Banger. Dude, just incredible. All of these, even the, I think it's Mikhailov on the prelims, Jonathan Mikhailov, who was making his debut against Kevin Jousset, also went to a decision, but
great fight,
high-level striking battle.
Yeah.
Awesome. The fight started off with a 19-second KO and then just ripped all decisions, but every decision was a banger fight, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
So not a ton of finishes last night. I guess 3 in total on the entire card, 2 KOs and 1 submission. All rest decisions, but even the decision wins or the decision fights last night just were bangers. Overall, dude, it was worth the watch, right?
Yeah.
Even when we think we're gonna get disappointed, we're proven wrong again.
Because everybody was saying oh God, everybody, UFC 312 is gonna suck.
Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, it doesn't. And listen,
because there was no major names,
right. Let's be real. No big names.
Main and co-main. That's really
it. No big names, and I do still think that aside from the main event and co-main event, the other 3 fights on the main card, although they were great fights and wars and were entertaining, they're still early prelim fights.
Sure. Yeah, the average fight, the average fan isn't lining up to go out and watch this fight card.
No. It's not enticing enough. Sean Strickland DDP, I think, is pretty enticing, but
not really though.
Yeah, not as much as, the Islam Moicano, last month's card.
Yeah, no.
Obviously had a lot more hype around it than this did. And then even next month with Alex Pereira and Magomed, I think just because of how big of a star Alex Pereira is, that's a lot bigger of a deal.
Party for UFC 312. I'm not inviting the homies over. I'm not going to Twin Peaks or Hooters to watch this fight because
B-dubs.
It's B-dubs or anything like that. It's
right.
Yeah. Most people probably didn't even watch it. They just knew it was going to happen, but they were I can miss this one.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they really missed a great ass card, you know?
Yeah, you missed a great card. If you didn't watch it,
At least Americans. You know, I can't say that the same for, overseas because according to Dana, it broke records again.
Well, yeah. I
You
mean,
should
it's
always
in
know.
Australia. You know, you had a lot of Australian fighters or fighters from that region on the card,
Yeah.
and aside from Justin Tafa, they all did pretty well. I mean, Jimmy Crute, like we said, went to the draw, and Jack Jenkins, I guess, he lost, but Tom Nolan with a good win. I guess Colby Thickness, he lost to Topuria as well.
Yeah.
But, the two fights that started it off between Quillen Salkild and Jonathan McAuliffe, which we already kind of talked about, both of them guys had great performances.
Yeah, so Quillen though, man, what did you feel about that? Like coming off right off the jump, I thought it was a fair stop.
Yeah, so I mean, I've watched it back now. 19-second KO. I think watching it back, it looks worse than it did in the moment. In the moment, I think I was totally okay with it. Watching it back now, I think it was a little bit early of a stop. I do. It looks now that like the referee made his mind up as soon as he landed that punch.
As soon as his head hit the canvas, dude.
Right. I mean, he dropped
the canvas, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped like he went limp. He went
Yeah.
limp. Yeah, but it was like literally a second it took for him to recover, which is why like watching it back now, it looks, a little premature. Like we've seen most finishes or most scenarios in fights like that, they let that go. They don't stop that immediately the way that they did, but I wouldn't protest that in any way.
Maybe in like a title fight.
For sure. If there was like serious serious implications, all relative.
Early prelims, first fight of the night, like.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he made his debut. Dude, I mean.
Either way, he was going to finish it, I feel like, in that moment.
Yeah. He set it up. He set it up perfectly, came over the top. Beautiful right hand. I mean, clocked the shit out of Jubilee. Yeah, I have no problem. Like, I'm not going to protest that. Like, oh, it's a terrible stoppage. I think, it was a little early, but,
I don't feel India is really is going to have a superstar ever. Like, it's going to take them a while. They've tried here recently. They've had a few who came in, and they're okay, but.
Right, yeah. I mean, you never know, man. You never know, like, who's going to be that person that comes out of, whatever country that's just on another level. We see it, all the time. You could have said the same thing about South Africa a few years ago. Now you have the middleweight champion.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? China was like that for a while. Like there's really no dominant fighters from China. Now China.
Yeah, but countries like that are bound to have somebody good eventually. They're just too damn big not to.
Sure.
To have somebody, but India is like
India's huge, dude. There's fucking billion people in India.
Yeah, but you don't look at them as like a fighting country. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you don't look at any country like a fighting country until they put focus on it and start producing fighters.
I mean,
that's my point.
It's like if you told me like Japan, like I would think fighting. That would be a thought of mine, like Japan.
Yeah, well, MMA's been in Japan a lot longer and been more popular, right? But I'm just saying, like, you don't have it until you do. That's
true.
All. Same thing with like Spain and Georgia. These countries, and now all of a sudden you have the Topurias and Marab and stuff like that. And,
it's true.
Now it's like, oh shit, these
everybody
guys
claims their wrestling's the best in the world.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Right.
Nobody says their striking's the best in the world. It's always their wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
What country you're from? My wrestling is better.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I do kind of, before we like get wrapped up in the prelims, I do think it would be wise for us to start at the main, because I think that's like we just went through kind of the prelims, how underwhelming the card is. I think the most important aspect of this card is the main and co-main. And we're probably going to spend the most amount of time with that anyway. So your main event last night, middleweight title, Dricus Du Plessis, Sean Strickland. DDP obviously gets unanimous decision victory over Sean Strickland. Two judges had it 5-0 for DDP. One had it 4-1. I I mean, I had it 5-0 personally.
Yeah,
I think round 3 was close, but, I still gave that edge to DDP. Yeah, I mean, he just had his number, dude, without the takedowns this time.
I honestly thought it was a very shitty fight.
Really?
I didn't think it was a great fight at all. I mean, Strickland didn't look good. He didn't look at all like. I mean, he looked exactly like he normally does, and that's not good because DDP just figured him out. I mean, DDP looked good. He looked different than what he normally looks like, but for it to be like these are your middleweight champions, like I feel like it's Sean Strickland shouldn't fight for a title again. I'm just saying it right now.
No.
I agree. His fighting style is not what I want to see in a champion.
It doesn't seem like it. The more and more you watch Strickland, the more and more it becomes evident that, and then you watch Izzy too, and the skid that he's on, like the more and more evident it becomes to me that like, he won that title off Izzy not because Izzy was still this dominant champion.
Yeah.
Like he kind of caught lightning in the
Izzy
bottle.
Made him relevant, dude.
Yeah, really. You know what I mean?
Because who would have ever thought Sean Strickland would be in this position to not only be a champion, but now fight for the belt twice?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't foresee him ever even sniffing a title shot again.
No.
In my opinion, if anything, his fighting style is just boring. Like it's to me, it's not fun to watch anymore.
No, it works if he's the one that's able to keep on the pressure. And he had success last night, like when he was able to pressure DDP, but then he would just throw the same thing, 1-2, or 2-3, whatever, like these little 2-punch combo, and then nothing. Yeah. So like it's not gonna work. Like had he have kept his foot on the gas and extended those combinations out a little bit, who knows?
It's like he didn't care, dude. I hate that shit.
Right.
Like you're in your corner, you're like
he always kind of fights like that though.
I know,
that is
like even when he's in his corner and like his coach is giving him the feedback and he's just like pushing it, like essentially just like almost pushing it off, like
yeah.
Dude, you're in a world title fight. Like your coach is literally telling you the key to what you're doing wrong, and you're like, I know. And then the commentary, you're like, yeah, he's telling him what he's doing wrong, and I know he wants to do it, but he can't. It's like, no, that's not true, dude. He could have put more pressure on DDP. He could have picked up the pace in the fight. It's like, but he didn't.
Well, I think that's half true. Like I agree with you to an extent on that, but I do think that Dricus Du Plessis deserves credit for the way that he fought and his striking being a disruptor. Like he was going first, right? He's going first, and he was landing that disrupt Sean Strickland's ability to be able to do the things that his corner's telling him to do. You can't be the pressured, or you can't be the pressure fighter when you're constantly being pressured. You need to do something to push the other guy back.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to do that, then you can't pressure. You can't extend those combinations. If you're throwing the combinations and then you're getting countered, DDP threw a lot more kicks, in my opinion, than I feel like I normally see him throw, especially head kicks, which, maybe he just saw that as a tool to, kind of keep Sean back. Because if Sean's going to throw that 1-2, a good way to counter that's, kick him in the fucking head after he does it. So I think DDP used his weapons accordingly to kind of counter Strickland's style really well. So, I do agree with you that he really just wasn't doing what he was told to do or what he needed to do to get the win. But at the same time, DDP deserves credit for that as well. I don't think it's simply, Sean not wanting to do it or just not doing it. It's easier said than done.
I'm going to just... As crazy as this sounds to say right now, I think the middleweight division is the worst men's division in fighting.
Worse than heavyweight?
Yeah. I mean,
no way. No way. You have, all right, you have DDP champion.
The top 3, top 4, you just got
Khalil Roundtree.
Duds. That's light heavyweight.
Talking
Middleweight.
Right.
Middleweight, you have DDP the champ, Strickland, Imavov, Chimaev, which is the only true
Kai Baralho, Whitaker.
Dude, Robert Whitaker is far past his prime.
But we're not about all right. Okay.
But he's not you can't use I'm talking about for the future of the middleweight division. Robert Whitaker's not the future of the middleweight division anymore. We're not. This isn't 5 years.
Bo Nickel.
Yeah, but still though.
Hamzat's young. Hamzat's going to be around a long time. Bo Nickel's young. He's going to be around a long time.
I guess heavyweight does suck, but
Kai Baralho, heavyweight men's division. Heavyweight is by far the worst. It's not even close.
Middleweight's close second then.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's second.
Dominant champs. I know DDP's he's now two he beat
two title defenses. Sure,
2 title defenses. But is he going to be an Ilya? Is he going to be a Pantoja? Is he going to be an Islam? Is he going to be an Alex? Is he going to be a John?
Right.
Or is he going to lose to Hamzat? And then is Hamzat going to be a dominant champ? I don't see anybody in that division outside of maybe Hamzat, but even I could see Hamzat not even being a dominant champ. I just don't see anybody in that division being I'm going to be a 3, 4, 5 title defense champion,
Sure.
The rest of these divisions, though, I could see that. Islam, I can see he's a dominant champ. Topuria, I could see him being a dominant champ. Pantoja, dominant champ. Even Merab is going to be a dominant champ in that bantamweight division, Yeah. So it's that's why I'm looking at that division. I'm saying I don't see a dominant champ there. DDP's great, yeah, but he's fucking beat Sean Strickland, dude. He's gonna lose. He might lose
So here's the what we stayed on live last night. We watched Dana in the post-fight press conference. Nothing super eventful came of that. But we have seen some stuff unfold today. DDP obviously quoted Achilles, "Is there no one else?" as he stared down Alex Pereira last night. But then, obviously said Hamzat's next. Yeah. Obviously Alex Pereira has a fight booked next month against Magomed.
205, and he said okay.
Yeah, no, that's the plan. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Does what you just said and your tune kind of change when DDP, that's an interesting fight. No, DDP goes out and beats Hamzat, and hopefully Pereira defends and beats Ankalaev. And then you get DDP Pereira.
Yeah, that's not interesting to me. No.
I disagree.
I don't see DDP even coming close to being Pereira. Pereira is just, I feel outclasses him in all aspects of MMA.
Well, I mean, you think so? He outclasses him wrestling and in the ground? You think Pereira's ground game's better than DDP's?
Dude, who's been able to fucking beat Pereira? Ground game or not, dude?
No, well, nobody tries. We're about to find out with Magomed, assuming he takes him
Alex down.
Who?
A few times.
Bruno Silva, his first fight in the UFC. Who's tried to take him down? Strickland tried to take him down?
Better than people give him credit for. And
who's tried to take him down?
I mean, I'm not saying every fucking 5 seconds, but I'm saying people have tried to get a takedown on him, and Izzy's tried.
Okay, right. The other kickboxer has tried to take him down.
Still, though, MMA
the guy that just got submitted by DDP, who I'm telling you about.
But for you to think that DDP can beat Alex Pereira is fucking nonsense.
Oh, I wouldn't pick DDP in that fight. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's a path to victory for DDP for sure, and that fight's interesting.
We'll find out how DDP looks when he faces Hamzat, and that's going to be the true test.
Right. So that's my point. So
but if
you
beats Hamzat, yeah, sure, but
what I'm saying.
There's such a big gap though from middleweight to light heavyweight, though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's such a big gap.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference? What is it? Fucking.
What do you mean? The weight difference?
Yeah.
20 pounds.
20 pounds, right? Yeah. So you're talking a 20-pound weight difference. You're talking Alex Pereira, the scariest motherfucker in the UFC, against DDP, who's beaten Sean Strickland and Izzy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, he beat, Whitaker
who also
when Whitaker was good.
Couldn't knock out Strickland, who Pereira flatlined.
For sure. Yep, for sure. No doubt. No doubt.
I'm
just saying there is that is going to be entertaining. But these are all ifs. Like Pereira has to beat Magomed next month. That's first. Then DDP is going to have to beat Khamzat whenever that happens later this year. Like there's things that have to happen. But if both of those things happen, first of all, if Pereira beats Magomed, there's nobody really left for him to fight either.
Yeah, but Pereira shouldn't be fighting DDP if he beats Magomed. He should be fighting He should be fighting for the heavyweight title. There should be no reason why he fights DDP. He should go up and fight John Jones or Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, but then he's a small heavyweight, dude. He's 200 and he's like 220, 230 maybe.
He can bulk up, dude. He's big enough to bulk.
Yeah, in a short amount of time. Who?
John did it.
How long did John bulk up for?
Took him a little over a year to put on 20.
A little over a year. What are you talking about? Yeah, but he wasn't
going for heavyweight at that time. He was injured, and then when he decided to move,
2 years.
Okay, 2 years, but still,
right. So Alex
can put on 20 pounds, dude.
In what? 6 months?
6 months,
and still be the same fighter?
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
No, you're wrong about that for sure.
I don't know. I think he could.
He's going to fight DDP. They both want that fight. Alex Pereira wants that fight. DDP wants that fight.
Well, of course Alex does because he knows he's going to win. He knows he'll win.
Well, I mean, and you got a guy calling you out like that. That's the fight to make, assuming both of those guys win. Dricus needs to beat Khamzat, which I think Dricus can beat Khamzat. He just has to outlast the first 90 seconds of Khamzat spamming fucking vicious takedowns.
Bilal versus DDP before they book Pereira versus DDP.
Yeah, nobody cares about that though.
Yeah, but what if Bilal beats Shavkat? Then everybody will fucking care.
No, they won't. Nobody cares about Bilal, dude, and nobody can make anybody care about Bilal.
If Bilal is Shavkat, people will care. I can promise you that, dude.
No, dude, that dude is the least liked champion in the UFC by a landslide.
I agree with that.
And he could be one of the least liked fighters. Nobody cares about his fights.
I agree with that, but it would be hard to deny him if he beats Shavkat.
Hard to deny him what? So he has one title defense and now you're okay with him moving up a division?
No, I'm just saying, if he beats Shavkat, who everybody is saying is the best right now in that division, if he beats him, Bilal's going to look like, okay, maybe Bilal is fucking good.
Well, Bilal's definitely good. He's the champion.
Sure. But then he goes out and beats Shavkat, and you're like, I mean, Dricus Du Plessis only had 2 title defenses. And now we're talking about him moving up a fucking division.
Right, he's already finished 2 title defenses. Bilal hasn't had a single one.
Yeah, I'm saying. So if he beats Shavkat,
that's one.
He beat the champ, what was considered the dominant champ of that division.
Hold on a second. Because you're doing this thing. You make no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Who did Bilal beat for the title?
DDP is going to fight Khamzat next. That would be 3 title defenses.
Sure.
Okay. How many does Bilal have right now?
If Bilal beats 2...
How many does he have right now? 0. 0 right now. If he wins 1 fight, has 1 title defense, you want him to move up with 1 title defense to DDP's 3. You're more okay with Bilal moving up to middleweight with a single title defense than DDP moving up with 3 title defenses.
I would say,
yeah, that's what I thought. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, but
still, though, the people that
he's no sense
versus the people DDP's beat is overnight better, in my opinion. If he beats Shavkat and he beat Leon if he beats Shavkat the way he beat Leon, and then even if he defends one more time,
he ain't beating Shavkat the way he beat Leon.
What if he does?
What if fucking?
What if he does, dude?
Yeah. What if fucking Tatiana Suarez knocked out Weili last night? What if fucking I mean, what if Sean Strickland knocked out DDP? What if fucking Izzy didn't get choked out? What if, you can play this what if game all you want, but it didn't happen.
Well, let's book Ilya versus Islam after 2 title defenses because of who he beat and how he did it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really agree with that either. That's more because there's nobody.
We've seen crazier things happen in the UFC.
But that's more because there's nobody for Islam to fight than it is about Topuria moving up.
I just think beating Sean Strickland by decision twice and just submitting an Izzy who's on a 3-fight losing streak doesn't grant you a move up.
You're right, it doesn't. But then beating Khamzat does. We're talking about after the Khamzat fight. Yeah, if he beats Khamzat, then that's what we're talking about then. I don't think you're understanding. You're looking at like a future thing as if it's going to happen right now, as if there's not already 2 fights booked for each of those guys. And this is a hypothetical on what could happen afterwards. What are you talking about? Magomed and Pereira fight next month.
Yeah, but you said for both of those guys. Khamzat and DDP's not technically booked. Anything can happen.
Yeah, sure. But, he knows it's next. He said it's next. Dana said it's next. So book it. It's next. If they're all saying it's next, it's next. With Khamzat, though, you never know. He could get the fucking flu again and be in the hospital and pull out or miss weight by 9 pounds. Or, I don't know. There's a lot of unexpected things with Khamzat, I guess, that could come into play. But you talk about the middleweight division being bad. So then who would you like him to fight? If you don't like Khamzat. Right. So after, let's say he wins the Khamzat fight.
Well, then he could fight. You still have Cal Barola, like you just said, who's number 6. So let him. He'd have to fight him if he wins his next fight. Imavov's still there on a 5-fight winning streak.
So, and to his credit, DDP said last night, he fights Khamzat while he's doing that. Strickland fights Imavov.
Dude, we got to stop talking about these people just moving up to fight for double belts. Like, that's the fucking most ridiculous thing I keep hearing.
I don't disagree.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. The only person that has the right to even discuss moving up or fighting for multiple belts is Islam, and that is it. Everyone else needs to stay in their division and be at least a 5-fight defense before they even think about being a double.
So then this is kind of a pivot, but on the same topic. Because the only reason that's discussed so heavily is because a lot of the times there's not fights for these guys, good fights.
But like I said, there is, though. Like we just said, Barola, Imavov. Like there's fights for DDP that he hasn't fought yet in his division on top 5 guys.
Sure. Imavov. I'll give you Imavov. I'm not going to give you the number 6th ranked Kai Barolo now. He needs to fight 2 more times before he can get a title. But that's what I'm saying.
By the time he gets past Imavov, after Imavov, he'll be ready to fight Cal Barola if he keeps winning.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But that's my point is it gets talked about because he beats, he gets another title defense and then it's like, all right, who's left? Right? All right, you have Khamzat, cool. But then what's next after Khamzat? At the moment, there's not a clear picture of what would be next after Khamzat. That's what allows, the discussion on him moving up and, this and that and whatever. So, my pivot would be, if anything, I would say that outside of, kind of the top 5 of most of these divisions, the divisions are weak and we're not seeing the same clear surging contenders that we've seen before.
Yeah, kind of in that division though. Really, in the rest of them though, outside of heavyweight, we'll exclude heavyweight, but the rest of them there is really.
Lightweight there's not.
There's
the lightweight division. The lightweight division's been the same.
Again, you still have.
They're all the same guys, dude. Sure. It's all the same guys. Is my point. You don't have it at lightweight. You have it at welterweight because you have the Shavkat, you have JDM, you have Ian Gary, you have Joaquin Buckley. Sean Brady still only has 1 loss. You have a lot at welterweight. You don't have it at lightweight.
When it comes to rising stars.
What?
That's why Bilal's going to have a tough time staying champ because there's so many people below
So
him.
many. Yeah, Bilal's list is long. Everybody else's isn't. Light heavyweight, it's not. You have Magomed. He's already beat Yuri twice. He's beaten Jan. He's beaten Jamal twice. Rakic lost to then you start going down. It's like Nikita Krylov, fucking Volkan Ozdemir. I mean, you don't have anybody at light heavyweight really either after Magomed.
Yeah, but I just don't.
Heavyweight's even worse.
But let's just go back to middleweight for a quick second, and let's just paint a picture of the top 5 over the course of 2025. So you got DDP the champ. He's likely going to fight. I'm looking at it now, and here's the scenario that I could see happening. You have DDP fighting Khamzat. Okay, there's that. Yep. And then before the end of the year, I could see them now, since Imavov is not going to get the title shot. I could see Cal Barola versus Imavov.
Yeah.
As the technical number one contender fight. Yeah. And then I could see Izzy. I could see Izzy versus Strickland too.
Yep, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think Robert
I feel like
another chance.
I don't either. I think Izzy probably. I feel like Izzy's probably going to take a good amount of time off this year.
He might want that back though from Strickland, and I feel like he wants that back.
Yeah, we'll
just
see.
The whole Pereira thing too. I feel like he's got to get his get back.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I don't know.
If there's anybody he could beat, I feel like he could beat
I don't dislike the giving, Kai Baralho the chance against Imavov. Even though Imavov just beat Izzy and now moved all the way up to 2.
I still having him right.
It's a damn good fight. Yeah. That might be
Imavov.
Imavov also lost to Strickland, so that's what DDP said was Strickland Imavov. Yeah. But that's less interesting to me for sure than Imavov Baralho.
Yeah.
But that could just be recency bias and kind of being like, I don't want to watch Strickland fight again.
I don't.
I want to take a good break from watching Sean Strickland fucking fight, dude.
I honestly wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind Sean Strickland Izzy as a fight night main event.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Sure.
I mean, it's just it. But
in America this time.
Let's pivot from the fucking main event.
Yeah, so DDP dominant win. Yeah, lots kind of to unpack from that and what's next. It's kind of a weak division, but I mean, there's options there. Seems like Khamzat's the obvious next fight for him. Sean Strickland, who really knows, pretty unimpressive performance from him. DDP 5 rounds to none, pretty good.
But with the top of the double champ thing, we can now pivot to the co-main.
Yeah. So let's talk about double champ shit even more.
This one is deserving of going
for sure. All right, so your co-main women's strawweight title, Zhang Weili, Tatiana Suarez. Now, we fucking told everybody. Tatiana Suarez was the betting favorite going into this.
Favorite, dude.
Which is ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous bullshit I'd ever seen. We called that out immediately. There was a ridiculous number of people all over the internet and in the world that were picking Tatiana Suarez to win this fight based off of nothing.
Yep.
Genuinely based off of nothing. Based off of the one line that everybody kept saying where, I don't know if Zhang Weili can compete with her wrestling. Okay, can Tatiana Suarez compete with Weili literally anywhere else? No. And we saw that last night. Damn, it feels good to be fucking right.
Yep.
And we were right. Zhang Weili dominated Tatiana Suarez. It wasn't even fucking close.
That's what you call a confidence killer.
Golly. Yeah, Tatiana Suarez looked like she wanted to quit by the end of that fight, dude.
Yes, she did. Oh, it made me
demoralized.
So happy.
Yeah, demoralized.
Girl, I was so pumped.
Hell yeah.
That was my favorite fight by a long shot.
For sure.
And just to see her dominate in that how she did, yeah. Now, I can't lie. I'm actually as much as I knew Weili had that fight, and people are crazy to even think that she didn't have a chance against Suarez. I am kind of intrigued on seeing if Tatiana Suarez, or if Weili is just that dominant, or like put Suarez against like Jan and see how she truly fares up against like a number one contender, because Jan also got her ass whipped by Weili when they fought. So it's like Weili just may be that fucking good, but Suarez might still be good. She just may have just not been good enough to beat Weili. Dude, Weili is just her dominance is
she's levels above every other woman in in that strawweight division. Like, to put it in perspective, Tatiana Suarez beat Jessica Andrade to be the number one ranked women's strawweight. It's asinine.
It is.
And we're going off. People were going off of that she submitted Jessica Andrade, and that's her wrestling is going to be too much for Zhang Weili. The fuck out of here. I mean, honestly, like, just it's so ridiculous. It literally angered me last week leading up to this fight how much people were talking about Tatiana Suarez wrestling being too much. Yep. Shut up.
Yeah, it was not Shut up. Much. If anything, it wasn't enough because Weili shut that shit down.
So then, like, this is something I mentioned to Joe Giannetti last night. We were talking about it because he picked Suarez. Weili won the wrestling exchanges.
Yeah, and
except for one.
You know what's crazy is she would have won that, but Weili just put herself in a weird position to where Suarez just had an easy takedown. If Weili was in like her normal,
she tried to hip toss her and then got
taken down. So it really technically could have been a 5-0.
Right. I mean, there was no other than that first round takedown that Tatiana Suarez got. I mean, Weili won every single other wrestling exchange throughout the entire fight after that. And, I mean, it just wasn't close. She was better on the ground. She was light years better on the feet. I mean, she was piecing her up, dude. That crimson chin that Tatiana Suarez has, that needs to be studied in a museum somewhere along with Max Holloway's, his old chin. But so,
Okay, fuck you. Jackass.
But yeah, dude, it angered me. It legitimately angered me to see people talking. It's just the disrespect, disrespect that people showed Zhang Weili.
Yep.
Pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, it pissed
so
me off,
bad.
Dude. Pissed me off too. I'm like, don't disrespect my girl like that, dude.
Nah, absolutely not. So she gets dominated. Tatiana Suarez gets dominated. Zhang Weili and Steele. And now, to preface this, because you already alluded to it, to preface it before we get into it, the fight that was rumored was already Zhang Weili Valentina Shevchenko.
Yep.
Up at flyweight, but the rumor was Shevchenko was not ready to go. Therefore, Tatiana Suarez and Weili gets is the title fight. So now, after Weili dominates Tatiana Suarez the way that she did, I think it's pretty clear that Zhang Weili and Valentina Shevchenko is going to happen. My only question to that is, what about Manon Fiorot?
I was just about to ask you. I was just going to say the same thing. What about her?
Does Valentina fight Manon, and then we see the super? I mean, that's a big fight. Zhang Weili, Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, but what if you do that though, and just so happens Manon Fiorot beats Shevchenko, you just threw a fucking millions of dollars out of the window.
Yeah,
by booking that fight.
Yeah, so they're probably not going to book that fight, and they're probably going to book Valentina and Weili first.
Just think about that,
That's what it seems like, especially Dana's attitude last night. It seems like Weili Shevchenko is going to happen no matter what. Let me ask you this. Valentina Shevchenko, Zhang Weili, I think, is the biggest women's fight that exists currently.
Call me crazy. End of the year, John versus Tom, main event, co-main event, Shevchenko Weili. Biggest pay-per-view.
That would be huge. Let me ask you, is
fucking wild.
Is Valentina Weili a bigger women's MMA fight or a bigger women's fight than, like, is it one of the biggest women's fights we've ever seen?
For sure.
Like how does that compare to like the Amanda Nunes Cyborg matchup? Because that was fucking huge at the time. It was
at the time, yeah, it definitely was. But I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's true.
Probably second to that, maybe, but then it could go out and be, I don't know. I mean, it could be number one. Yeah, it could be the biggest women's fight ever.
And they're both fairly the same matchup too. Like Cyborg and Nunes was like a very similar matchup. Shevchenko and Weili is a very similar matchup. So it could be really good. And dude, like when Joanna fought Weili, that's a similar, that's the same stylistic matchup as what you'll see with Weili versus Shevchenko.
Yeah, the only difference is size. Like, obviously, like I would expect Shevchenko to be a lot longer than Weili.
Yeah, sure.
Which then in the striking could, but man, Weili is so fast. Holy.
She's in and out.
Her super strong.
It's great.
Yeah. Super strong, very well rounded. I mean, that is I
feel like Valentina though leaves herself open for opportunities to get beat at some
for
point.
Sure. I mean, she lost to Grasso and then went to a draw with Grasso before grappling her to a boring decision win, at the Sphere.
And I don't think you're going to get that with Weili.
Nah, she's not going to be able to.
It's going to be a standing bang. This is going to be a standing fight.
Yeah, I don't believe she's going to be able to hold Weili the way she held Grasso. I do think Weili would beat Grasso. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but I don't even think that fight would be close. I think Weili would beat Grasso. I think Weili versus Shevchenko is the most interesting fight in women's MMA at the moment. Aside from, somehow the UFC signing Dakota Dacheva and seeing how she fares against top UFC talent. That's super interesting to me too, but I don't think that happens. But current UFC fights, current women's MMA, Zhang Weili, Valentina Shevchenko is the biggest thing in women's MMA we've had since, if not bigger, but since Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg.
I mean, I feel like if you're not going to book Manon Fiorot, you got to do kind of like the same thing we were talking about with Barola and Imavov. You kind of do like a Natalia Silva versus Manon Fiorot, number one contender. Because Grasso doesn't deserve to fight for a number one contender, in my opinion. You 3 title fights, one draw, 1 win, 1 loss.
The problem is Fiorot has been on. I mean, she's been on the back burner since last year, right? Like she beat Erin Blanchfield in March last year, and that was really for number one contender. Then you went and ran back, Grasso Shevchenko in September at the Sphere. She was waiting till the end of that to get her shot. So now if this happens because of Weili and you give Weili a title shot against Shevchenko, I mean, fuck, dude, it kind of sucks for Manon Fiorot.
It does.
It's not right. But it is the more interesting.
It is the more intriguing fight for sure.
Yeah, it just is the way it is, dude. It's the fight business.
And we'll talk about the bantamweight. We won't talk about the bantamweight division because that's just.
Yeah, I don't even care. Honestly, dude, the women's bantamweight division, I think, is closer than any division to just being dissolved. It's like ridiculous. It's the champion. I can't stand the champion. I can't stand Juliana Peña's champion. She's like a paper champ in my opinion. It angers me. I saw her yesterday with like a photo shoot of her like doing dressed up and like holding the belt. Like she looks fucking
It's
stupid.
The men's middleweight division, dude. They have Kayla Harrison, who is Hamzat.
It's worse. It's worse than that.
The dark horse of the division coming up.
It's worse than that.
Juliana Peña, the DDP of the division.
Nah, it's worse. It's way worse. Because you like, I put way more respect on DDP's name than I would ever imagine to put on Juliana Peña.
I know.
But fuck yeah, dude. Women's MMA.
Zhang Weili.
Yeah, thank God, dude. It just feels good to be right. You know what I mean? It just feels really fucking good to be right, dude.
I agree 100%.
That's your co-main, potentially another champ matchup coming out of that fight afterwards as well. And honestly, dude, Tatiana Suarez, like, she can't fight once every 2 years.
No.
She's not good enough. I don't care. Give her Jan if they want to do that. Shit, give her Verna Jandiroba. I mean, give her somebody, give her somebody else to be a top contender.
Dern.
Yeah, sure. Both good wrestling, good ground game. Both not good striking, but Mackenzie Dern's striking actually did look improved compared to Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez's striking doesn't look improved. No. Mackenzie Dern still isn't good, but it at least looks better each fight. You know what I mean?
Everything looks better when she fights.
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah, no doubt. All right, so performance of the night bonus was they called it on the broadcast, your featured heavyweight bout of the evening, which was disgusting.
That shouldn't even be a performance of the night, dude. Justin Tafa is going to be cut before the end of the week.
Justin Tafa, Taliesin, Teixiera just completely flattens Justin Tafa's nose with a close elbow against the fence, knocks Tafa out. 35 seconds in the first round, gets a KO, gets a performance of the night bonus. I mean, good for him, performance of the night, but like we said this last night during our fight companion on the live stream. Like, I saw this coming a mile away. The dude's 6'7".
Who the fuck is gonna fight this guy, bro?
Yeah, I mean, there's got same Rebellis Despain was the same way. You know what I mean? And that hype got stopped immediately. But the heavyweight division is incredibly weak.
But isn't Taliesin Teixiera though isn't he like a 15-year black belt? Like, or isn't he like a black belt, BJJ black belt? Isn't that what they were saying on the broadcast? They were like, yeah, he's like, DC was like, yeah. Crazy part is he's 6'7" and he's a knockout artist, but he's been training BJJ for like 15 years.
Maybe, I don't know. His takedown average per 15 minutes is 0. So
he really doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying? That's why DDP was there. That's why DC was like, yeah, it's crazy because it's this and that, but he's also been training BJJ for 15 years.
Yeah, but it's hard to, I don't know. I don't know. It's if he doesn't use it, it's hard to justify that skill as like a viable skill if he never uses it in a fight. How do you know how good it is in a fight if he never even uses it?
Beat him and be like, oh, this is how I can beat him by taking him down, and then they realize, oh fuck,
maybe he's never done it.
Yeah.
Right. Who knows?
Rebellis Despain is not a fucking 15-year jiu-jitsu guy. He's a fucking karate guy.
But we don't even know, dude. You're giving DC way too much credit for that. DC be saying some fucking stupid shit. He doesn't even know what he's talking about a lot of the time. So
that's very true.
He could just be another Rebellis Despain. I mean, that's very possible. You could match,
in my opinion.
He would what?
His striking looked a little bit crispier. Rebellis Despain just throws some of these fucking looping hooks, and
he's huge and tons of power.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, that was a knockout. Still a good knockout. I mean, he flattened him.
Definitely got my long hard. I can tell you that.
Justin Tafa, turtled up, and that was it. $50K to Taliesin Teixiera.
And then not only did he turtle up, he fucking tried to say the stoppage was early.
Yeah, then he tried to argue. Yeah, what a joke.
What a joke.
Other notable, we already talked about the first fight of the night with Quillen Salkilled, 19-second knockout. We've talked about a few of the prelims and performance tonight, but
Topuria.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can touch on that a little bit, and then let's touch on that, and then we'll go to the Rongzhu Kody Steele fight of the night.
And then a couple of those people's comments?
And then
that seemed to be the
and then we'll read some people's comments that we reached out to about what their favorite part of UFC 312 was. So yeah, I mean, Alexandra Topuria, minus 340 favorite, gets a decision win. Won the striking battle. His grappling looks really good. The fucking suplex that he hit was sick.
Yeah,
that was sick. Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Definitely not as good as his younger brother, especially at 29 years old.
No.
But I mean, dude, he's still fucking good, and his stance is the same. He boxes the same way. I just don't know that he takes as good of angles and closes distance quite as good as Ilya does. Like that's one of the things that I think people can't really account for, and one of the things I think makes Ilya so fucking good is the way that he gets to you and cuts you off and creates these angles that you eventually can't move out of the way from, and you get fucking clocked and it's over. Yeah. I didn't really see that. I saw it last night out of Alexandra, but not like to that level. I just think Ilya is obviously, top 4-3 pound for pound fighter in the world. So
sure,
his brother's not quite on that level, but still very good. But again, it was against another guy making his debut. It wasn't really against an established UFC fighter. I don't know. We'll see what kind of comes out. It's still a good win.
Do you think that he'll be a dominant fighter after starting out his career with a decision?
Don't do this. I don't.
No, me neither.
I don't see him. I don't see him having remotely close to the career his brother had, aside from champion. Like, let's just, what you're referencing, we had this conversation yesterday about Ilya, whatever. But, like, Ilya's first 5 fights were decision win, KO, 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 submission. Here we go. Topuria UFC, Alexandra Topuria UFC debut, decision win. Do I see him going KO, 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 submission? And ending in the top 5 or top 10 bantamweight after that? Not really. I just don't see him quite as good.
No, I don't either.
But I don't know. It's tough to judge. I could be wrong. It was hard to judge Ilya off that first fight, too, against Youssef Zalal. He wrestled the entire time, and then, kind of his cardio was in question because he kind of got burnt out.
Sure.
And then he moved up to lightweight, and, like, there was some things that Ilya did too that were weird, but just the way that he started to beat people is what got so many people's attention. I feel like Alexandra Topuria, I can see the way he won this fight being very common for him.
Yeah,
like I can see him being a fucking decision merchant and doing enough. But he does throw that heat, dude. He was looking for it last night. He was definitely fucking looking for it.
He was trying.
He was looking for it, yeah. But, yeah, either way, intriguing, right? Like, when you have a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and then all of a sudden his older brother signs with the UFC, people are going to take notice and pay attention. Sure. And then when that same fighter has his older brother, who's the champion, in his corner, along with Merab Dvalishvili in his corner, and their coaches, I mean, it's just, whether he deserves the hype or not, the hype is going to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So, yeah, your fight of the night was early prelims, Rongzhu and Kody Steele. Obviously, Rongzhu gets the win, unanimous decision win. But holy shit, buddy. Was this a fucking war? Yeah, these boys were banging. Just, I mean, absolutely ridiculous, dude. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was. And then that ending too, like it almost gives you like throwbacks to the Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway type shit. Just the last like 20 seconds, just throwing haymakers center of the octagon, trying to just finish each other.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. So that was Steele's. First off, can we just say this? Kody Steele and Kody with a K. Kody Steele. That's like a porn star name. First of all.
Oh yeah.
But obviously Steele. He came through. Dana White's Contender Series last night was his debut, and he debuted against Rongzhu, who, is also really young but has an insane amount of fights for his age. How old did they say he was? 24?
24.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Yep.
I mean, he already has that was his 5th fight in the UFC for Rongzhu.
Wow.
You know, but he was on a 2-fight skid. He lost to Bahamondes and he lost to Padilla because of doctor stoppage, and he got submitted by Bahamondes. You know, he is currently now after that 2-3 in the UFC. Rongzhu. So, you know, not great. And a battle, you know, not great. I get
defender.
Yeah, not a great look, I guess I'm saying, for Kody Steele, like to be a serious contender and make serious noise. He's going to put on entertaining fights, though, because that dude's got the fucking heart of a lion, bro.
Yeah, he does.
Like, some serious heart out of that kid. So, I mean, you know, he keeps improving his craft. You know, he'll be around for a while because you don't get rid of guys that put on fights like that.
No, you don't. And it seemed like he seemed like he was a favorite of a lot of people. Like he trained with a lot of people, friends with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I mean, he still probably has a lot to do.
Yeah. Either way, that fight was awesome. If you're listening to this and you missed that bout on the early prelims, go back, man, and watch it. It's worth the watch. It was fucking crazy. It was fucking crazy. But yeah, let's get to you know, some of the community, some of the messages that we got from people. Shout out to Paul, who was with us all night last night during the live stream. And you alluded to it, man, but he said early in the card, I asked everybody what their favorite moment was from last night's fights. He said early in the card when Rongzhu and Kody Steele finished the fight Max Holloway style, that whole fight was great.
Mm-hmm.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Shout out to Paul for, hanging with us all night last night during the fight companion. That was sick. Which, you know, we're starting to gain a few people doing that, which is awesome. I did hit up Andrew Valdina, who was on a plane last night flying out to Vegas because our buddy Connor Matthews fights this Saturday for UFC Fight Night. So he was on his way out there, but he did say he didn't get to watch much of the fights, but he did say he saw the 19-second KO.
I wonder if he's going to corner Connor.
I don't know. But he did say he saw the 19-second KO from Quillen Salkilled and said, man, what a highlight. So shout out to Andrew Valdina. Definitely, that was a highlight. I mean, he planted that right hand. Nasty knockout to start it. Over on Twitter, Game Changer, over on Twitter, who, you know, we featured on our 2024 end of the year episode, said probably the fact that DDP went all 5 rounds striking and never took a step back. He only shot 1 takedown, but he delivered a masterclass against a well-trained defensive fighter who does not get hit very much. You knock Strickland's style, but it is very defensive. It is kind of that defensive boxing style. It is hard to hit him the way that Strickland fights, and DDP definitely picked him apart. Broke his fucking nose. We didn't even talk about that. Broke his damn nose, had to reset it. But yeah, shout out to Game Changer over on Twitter. Terrence McKinney, who, you know, reached out, we reached out to, and same thing. We had his response and him chime in on our end of 2024 episode, and he's coming off another big win in the UFC. So shout out to T-Rex. And he said, "Def my boy Kody Steele fight."
I think everybody was kind of on the Kody Steele train.
Absolutely, man. He said he trained with Kody Steele for a week. But I mean, he had high praise for him, just even in like the type of person he was and the dude he is. So shout out to Kody Steele and Terrence McKinney. Appreciate you responding and chiming in. It seemed like that was a very popular answer. Here you go again. Mitch Raposo, who just got a fight booked April 12th in Miami. So we will see him return to the UFC after making a short notice debut last year. But he's, making his return April 12th in Miami. He's got a fight booked. He also said Kody Steele fight was a banger. Connor Matthews, who we just talked about. Again, Kody Steele with the banger. And with the banger at the end of the fight. So, a lot of people were talking about,
let's give Rongzhu some credit here, man. Cody still can't get all the love. He lost.
He lost, I know. I agree. I was thinking that. I was thinking that as these messages were coming in.
Yeah,
everybody keeps saying, yeah. But yeah, here you go. And at least they mention Rongzhu. Combat Casuals over on X. Man, that fight between Kody Steele and Rongzhu really made the night for me. Awesome back and forth.
Yeah,
both fighters were extremely game and had no problem risking it to try and get the finish. I just said fight of the night for a reason, Yep. But you can tell, that's why that's fight of the night. You hear everybody that responds to that. That's their take. Shout out to our boy Mitch Webb, who stopped in the Fight Companion last night at all. Mitch said DDP winning so we can see him fight my boy Hamzat. That's the fight. That's the fight to make, dude. People want to see it. People want to see if DDP's, style can be successful against somebody, like Hamzat. So I agree. MMA Homie Podcast, who we've interacted a little bit with over on Twitter. And maybe someday we link up. They seem like good dudes, so maybe we link up, they share, some of the fight cards that I make and stuff like that,
yep.
And they share them on their website and something. Maybe we can get do some kind of collaboration or something with them guys at some point. But MMA Homie said Sean Strickland getting his nose broken with a laughing emoji, which, I said, dude, it was crazy. And then for him to, he's sitting there trying to reset his nose.
That's wild.
Trying to reset his nose in the cage while DDP's pressing him. But yeah, his nose got exploded and then was just leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, bro.
That video or that picture you put on X, that's tell of it, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. Last one, our boy, professional fighter, light heavyweight, who we've had on the podcast, Will Dickey, Midwest boy or out west. He said, when Weili, and this is why the best for last, save the best for last, dude, because I fucking agree. He said, when Weili beats Suarez in dominant fashion, Suarez has a big mouth. And like DC said, there comes a time when you are fighting the champions that you realize why they are champions.
Yep.
Meaning Weili is leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else at 115. Yeah, Will, she fucking is. Before we end this shit, we fucking told you. God damn it, dude.
We did tell you.
We did fucking tell. We told everybody, dude. Nobody fucking listens. We fucking told them. Next week, you have a fight night between Jared Cannonier and RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez, Calvin Cater, Youssef Zalal. Some good. There's going to be some good fights on this. I'm not going to lie. And for a fight night, I'm intrigued. I don't particularly care for, Edmund Shabazi and Dylan Butka being the third, to last fight. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dylan Butka has a 7-4 record, which I don't even feel like somebody should be in the UFC with a 7-4 record personally, but whatever. I'm not going to shit on him too much.
We got the Bonfim in there.
Yeah, Ismail Bonfim. Yeah. Andre Petrosky, who is a local guy for me. He's been actually in my gym quite a bit. So he's a Philly boy, Andre Petrosky. And then Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado.
Both the Bonfims are on here.
Yeah. No, so this is a great card, dude. So this is going to be awesome. Maybe we'll do something later this week, kind of breaking this down a little bit more. But this is a fight night, no pay-per-view. And it's in Vegas. But it looks like the main card starts at 7 p.m. So your prelims start at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then your main card starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. But there is 6 fights on the main card on this, so maybe we could do, kind of a short fight companion or something Saturday. I know you're not going to be around,
I'll be off.
But it may be worth it, to kind of do a little fight companion situation. So if anybody wants to stop by our lives over on YouTube, we also are live. Well, we're really live everywhere. When we do our fight companions, we're live on Facebook, we're live on X, we're live on Twitch on 2 different accounts. We're live on YouTube specifically and most notably. But it's been a good time. Just a bunch of people hanging out, watching the fights together. It's been sick. But, yeah, that's next week. And then after that, you have Seattle with Cejudo and Song.
Yep.
Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez, Gene Silva makes his return. Rob Font. Oh, I don't actually know if that's happening because Dominic Cruz retired. Is Rob Font?
No, it's no fight.
No fight. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, that's Seattle. The Royval Cape is off, right? But did that get replaced with Steve Erceg and Brandon Moreno?
Yep.
Yeah. So. That's interesting. I don't see.
No.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah,
that's a different event.
Manel Cape is fighting that one guy, I think.
Who?
What's his fucking name, dude?
Who is it?
Fighting him. Maybe I'm tripping, dude. I thought
didn't
he get the Asu Amabayev?
So that's who he was supposed to fight. That's who.
Brandon Moreno was supposed to fight, or Steve Erceg was supposed to fight, right?
Steve Erceg was supposed to fight, yeah.
And I think they switched it for Steve Erceg to fight Moreno.
Yeah, but there's no way that. So Manel Cape, Asu Amabayev is going to be the main event to the March 1st fight night.
I don't know. Maybe
no
I'm
way.
completely wrong. I feel like the Asu Amabayev guy got booked for a solid fight, though.
But so anyway, then we haven't seen anything completely confirmed, and as we're kind of reading this off the UFC website, or at least I am, it still doesn't have those changes on it. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Look out to what's next. But as of yesterday, we are officially 1 month out from UFC 313 between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Mauricio Rufy, Bruno Silva, Josh Van, Amanda Lemos. So another, this is kind of not a great, same thing, kind of not a great card here, but main and co-main are very good.
Yep.
Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje's violent as it gets. That is
fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun fight. And then Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev is highly, highly anticipated. Yep. So that's kind of what the next month in the UFC looks like. We mentioned this in a previous episode before. There's no breaks. We have no breaks, right, for a while.
Yeah,
2 months or so.
Yeah, close to April, I think.
Yeah, which is fucking sick, dude. Hell yeah.
I'm ready for it.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. Football season is over. Prime time fighting season has fucking begun, dude. Our break is done. We're in. We're locked in. Can't fucking wait, dude. But that is kind of our discussion and recap of UFC 312. Again, if you're not already, click that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel over on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Like the video. Leave us some comments, man. Let us know what your favorite moment of UFC 312 was. Let us know what you think. Dirty, you got anything else, baby?
Nah. Time to get off and watch some more violence.
Let's get it happening. Appreciate it. Catch y'all on the next one.
Sir.
Peace out, baby.